Today we continue again with the third chapter. It's called Fully Adapting Bodhicitta, third chapter. And this chapter explains how we prepare the mind to truly practice bodhicitta. In order to practice bodhicitta, we need all of these foundation, these methods, this preparation. Without that, it's difficult to overcome the ego. So this chapter, probably last time we talked about, you remember it. This chapter begins with two main topics: gathering the accumulations and mind training, right? Gathering the accumulations has 8 different sections. In the second chapter, we explained the first 4 sections, the offering section, the prestation section, refuge section, purification, the confession of negativity section. So 4 sections we talked about in the second chapter. So in this chapter, remember, as I said, this accumulation this section has 8 different sections. So we talked about 4 sections in the second chapter. So this is third chapter, okay? So in this third chapter, we will continue with the remaining 4 sections. And hopefully you remember in our last teaching on the way of the Bodhisattva's way of life, we discussed the request for teachers to continue teaching the Dharma, right? Which is very important, right? That reminds me today, like I want to say that since we have a great Sangha, good students, you should not think or believe that you are unworthy of teaching one day in the future. I want you to encourage, because of we talked about in the last section, request for teachers to continue teaching the Dharma, right? So that means like you all have possibility and opportunity to teach the Dharma one day in the future. So you have received many teachings from, for sure, different teachers. And also if you see yourself as a Mahāyāna practitioner, that means you understand that these teachings are not only for your own benefit. You receive them so that in the future, as your capacity develops, you can help others. Giving Dharma teaching, that's the best way to help others and the best generosity. So I can tell you that the most important, in order to teach, become a teacher, you need some good qualities, right? Most important qualities of a teacher, first, your bodhicitta, everything, bodhicitta. Without bodhicitta, you can't teach. I mean, you can teach, but there will be you don't have the quality of a teacher. So bodhicitta, compassion, patient. Patient is very important, very difficult. Sometimes, like students makes you really difficult. You have to be patient. But as long as you have bodhicitta, then be patient is not that difficult. And then ability to explain the teachings clearly and humbly without arrogance. So therefore, you must sort of gradually plant the seeds of confidence that you can and will teach the Dharma to other people who really need, right? As you see, teachers first received the teachings and, later went on to help many other beings. So this shows how a single person can protect an entire lineage from decline. You already have the qualities of compassion, bodhicitta, and clarity to become a good teacher. Maybe not the greatest teacher, but being a good teacher is totally enough. Someone who can offer guidance and who can help others little by little, whenever they need support. So the teachings we have today exist because ordinary practitioners in the past choose to learn and practice them, right? In the same way, one day, someone will be grateful that you choose to practice and help maintain the lineage, Dharma alive in the future generation for generations. So if you continue practicing with this kind of goal, confidence and strength will naturally grow if you make a commitment and then practicing with this goal. Your confidence will naturally develop, whether you receive teachings now or later, the doors of the Dharma are always open for you. So if you wish that your study, your practice benefit future generations, not only for yourself as a Mahāyāna practitioner, then one day someone will be grateful that you took even a single step on this path. In Buddhism, your culture, your background, and your experience are not obstacle or against to develop spiritual wisdom or capacity or the ability to become a teacher. I am not asking you to change who you are in order to teach the Dharma or become a teacher, but if you study the Dharma with this goal, it will deepen, strengthen your heart. So it is important to think about receiving lots of teachings and practice and every day what is the goal, right? So, I mean, of course, it is important to make money and have a good life, but we also need something more, this sort of higher goal. So you should not think I'm not good enough, or I'm not a spiritual, like genuine spiritual. I cannot become a teacher. You don't look down yourself. Like others are better than me, or I'm too busy. I don't have time to practice. These thoughts are obstacle, but if you commit to the Dharma, you can gradually develop confidence and strength. And the Dharma teachings is not separate from your busy life. It can teach you how to deal with negative thoughts, with anxiety, how to stop being angry at yourself or others, how to bring kindness into your activities, your conversations, whatever. We have problem, this is my ordinary life, this is my practice time. We kind of separate, but Dharma cannot be separate from your busy life, because as I said, this Dharma, if you bring this Dharma into your daily life, it will help you, how to bring kindness, how to be a patient, or so when you learn the Dharma, you are helping someone in the future who may suffer in the same way you have, and yourself. And your understanding can become a refuge for someone you have not yet met. You don't need to worry about having all the qualities of a teacher. If you read one of Bhakti Rinpoche's book, he explains the qualities of Buddhist teacher, but then he summarized the most important quality is bodhicitta, right? So our main focus should be on practicing sincerely and how to help ourselves and others. And if our practice becomes stable, teaching will happen sort of naturally. So anyway, giving Dharma teachings to others is very important. But the Buddha also said that if students lack interest, sincerity, or respect, then Buddha said teachers should not give teachings. So when requesting teachings, we need, student need devotion, trust, appreciation, and willingness to learn, to practice, all of that. So that was one of the foundation, to develop genuine bodhicitta, right? Receive teachings or give teachings with pure intention and motivation. Anyway, now I'm going to pick up where I left off last class. We are at the sixth stanza. That is Jara Nyinganda Yella Tarmo Jarte Sorwa Ron the Dorm Mangat Jankarwa Tami Juperso. This one It says, with palms joined, I supplicate the Buddhas who are considering passing into nirvana, please do not leave the world in darkness, but remain here for countless eons. The passing of a great teacher has a profound effect on both the student and the world. When enlightened being, great teachers, no longer remain in the world to teach and guide sentient beings, and when they passed away, the world becomes dark, meaning that beings fall into ignorance, suffering, and confusion without their guidance. So in Buddhism, a teacher who has attained high realization is considered a source of a true refuge, protector, right? And a sort of living embodiment of the Dharma. So the great teachers bring spiritual light to beings, to the world, and help reduce suffering and increase bodhicitta, compassion, wisdom. So when such a being pass away, the student and many other beings lose a direct source of wisdom and compassion. Without the teacher's guidance, then misunderstandings of the Dharma may arise. Also, arguments or divisions among students can sometimes happen. Blessings and all the corrections reduce. But the teacher's passing is also very powerful reminder of impermanence, a motivation to practice more deeply, transmit the Dharma yourself, ourselves. So in this way, the teachers also influence continues even after their physical death. The Dharma teachings they left behind, the students who carry on their work and the positive karma and blessings generated during their lifetime allow their great, their legacy to continue. But without their physical presence, everything becomes more difficult, Probably you may not know how difficult it is, but I have spent many years with my teachers, right, and relied on them very deeply. So, it's very hard. when they are gone, This is why many Buddhist texts include prayers, asking great teachers not to leave and stay for the benefit of all beings. As you know, in Buddhist tradition, especially in Mahāyāna and Vajrayana, the great teachers have the capacity to live longer and the ability to extend their life a little bit longer. And they can even choose their rebirths. Can you believe that? Their physical manifestation and even the timing of their passing, they have all these great capacities. They really do. I don't know how, why, but a Buddha in Nirmanakaya form can appear or disappear, live long or pass away early, depending on the needs of beings. And also the karma of the world. The great teachers, the motivation is nothing other than help other sentient beings. So when the karmic connection with beings is finished, or the students are no longer accepting their teachings and their, instructions, then a great masters may choose to leave. In Mahāyāna Buddhism, enlightened being's life is understood as a manifestation of wisdom and compassion. So according to Mahāyāna teaching, great masters possess the 10 powers and the 4 fearlessness, which include full power over life and death. When a great master considers passing into nirvana, students may request them to stay longer, and sometimes it works, as I said, because the great master do not die in an ordinary way. They can control over life and death, not forever, but a little bit longer. Depends on their situation and the karmic connection with the world. As far as I know, the way, probably you heard this, but Kanchin Chuan Chapdal and Kanchin Pamatsewan pass away was really extraordinary. Kanchin Pamatsewan wanted to, I think I already told you this, but again, he wanted to pass away on the 10th, the birthday of Pamasambhawa, 10th, right? And he wished to die at the place, the Sami, somewhere in Lhasa, the Sami monastery, probably you heard this. This is the first monastery in Tibet, Sami. So it's near Lhasa in Tibet, the capital. The place, this Sami, this place where the great master Longchenpa, right? Longchenpa had passed away. So he, Kanchen Pamatsan, wanted to die there, and he went there from hospital in China. And he arrived there on the 8th, right? Because he wanted to die on the 10th. However, then the students requested him live longer because told him that there are many of the other his students were coming from Eastern Tibet to see him. So they said to him, you can't leave without see your students. It's really hard to get there, many days to get there. So then Kanchen Pamatsan said, okay, I will try. And as a result, he passed away on the 25th instead of the 10th. This is real. This story is real, So he went to he got sick, and from where he was in the monastery in Tibet, in my monastery, and then student requested him to go to the hospital in China, and they went to Beijing hospital, and then they arrived there 6th, 6th, 7th, something like that. So they were there for 3 days, and then the 8th day, he said, "You have to. I need to go to this place, and you have to buy tickets." So then he arrived because he said, "I want to go there, Sami place," and so he really want to die on 10th. So they arrived there 8th, and then he extend his life a little bit longer, like 10th to 25th. 25th is another Pamasambhava's important day. So then, of course, he saw all his students, and then his 25th. It's coming. Tibetan calendar, 25th of the first month. Sometime it's coming next month maybe. Yeah, so that's his story. I don't know, but and then also like Kanchen Chuang chapter did not want to stop his teachings until the day he passed away. That's was his commitment. But the student requested him to. I was there, when he teach, that like it's not looking good. His voice it's almost hard to hear. The people, student, lift him up and put him there, and then he tried to teach, but I can tell like it's difficult, right? So his voice, he's losing his voice, and he's losing his whole strength, of his body. And then student requested him, you have to pause, this teaching for at least 3 days, and told him that you should stop teaching 3 days, and we're going to do the Tsok feast for 3 days. We usually do, like he loves making Tsok feast. And then he finally agreed, and because I was there. So we did Tsok feast for 3 days, and he passed away on the 3rd day. On the morning of the 3rd day, he said, today after lunch I will die. I mean, can you believe? It's just like his body has no strength at all. But other than that, like there's no like strong, sick illness, like nothing like that. It's just he's just weak. That's all. And then he also said that one of his there is a Khenpo, and he said the name of him, and you need to finish the rest of my teaching, because he had stopped in the middle of the text, and he asked the specific this Khenpo, you should finish this teaching. And then he had his lunch, and after that peacefully passed away right after his lunch. It's amazing, like it's totally different than the ordinary people pass away. And you probably don't know, Mapam Rinpoche, one of the greatest teacher, Nyingma master, said shortly before his passing, he said this. I will read it. This is it's very inspired me. He said, these days, when you tell the truth, no one believes you. But when you lie, everyone believes you. This is why I have never said this to anyone before. But now I'm dying, so I want you to know that I am not an ordinary being. I am a real bodhisattva. And out of compassion and through the power of aspiration, I'm reading his last final words. What is it? Out of compassion and through the power of aspiration, I was born intentionally for the benefit of others. Therefore, listen to my teachings and follow my example. In doing so, my blessings with you. I'm not lying to you. There is no reason for me to lie. I'm about to die. So this is very common in Tibet, like, oh, Mapam would say that, that's true these days. People, when you tell the truth, nobody believes. If he say, like, during his life, oh, I'm a real bodhisattva, I'm not ordinary person, then some people believes him, some people may not, right? So that's why he was so humble person, never ever say I am a special, I am a bodhisattva, never ever say that. But before he passed, like one few minutes, I think, he said this. So he said, there's no reason to lie, so please just listen my teachings, follow my examples, and my blessings with you. Because he said, basically, I'm not an ordinary person. So, anyway, real bodhisattvas have the capacity to choose their birth. Because they're not controlled, right, by ignorance, right? They're not pushed by karmic force the way ordinary beings are, like me, right? A real bodhisattva does not take rebirth based on uncontrolled like emotions or as the result of samsaric karma. Rather, they take rebirth out of compassion, benefit of sentient beings. That's why if there is no benefit, people don't listen them or reject their teachings, then they think, okay, what is the reason to live? Then they choose, they pass, right? So the bodhisattvas, because they have this power, the bodhisattvas vow gives them this power. When connected with the wisdom and meditation, this vow becomes powerful force that guides their life and death and encourages all their actions. That's why they have this power to control their rebirth and death. So anyway, so here this Shantideva was this stanza talks about request the great teachers not to pass away, because their teachings and their guidance, and it's very, very powerful, very important. And when they done, then when they're physically gone, is everything become dark. So that's why this is very important. Then the seventh stanza, it says, through this all the virtues I have accumulated, and all the actions I have not performed, may the suffering of all sentient beings be completely eliminated. So this section is called dedication, right? Dedicating the merit for the benefit of others. It says, all the actions I have now performed. It means, as I said, the 7 sections mentioned above, all the positive karma and merit you have created, and all the positive actions you have done up to this moment, you are dedicating not only for yourself but for the all beings, right? So in the Mahāyāna tradition, the great merit you created through your virtuous actions can be destroyed by anger, jealousy, arrogance, or the other negative thoughts, and also harmful actions. They can destroy your accumulation merit if you don't dedicate them. But once you dedicate them, then it becomes sort of indestructible, because it is connected to bodhicitta, not your ego, right? It's like you drop like one, glass water in the ocean. So when the ocean dry up, then your water is gone. Other than that, you just mixed with the great ocean. It's kind of similar when you create all this accumulation, the merit through your whatever, you right away dedicate it. That means you sort of dedicated the way the Buddha's Bodhisattvas dedicated. So your merit actually expands, because you're kind of the way you dedicate your merit through bodhicitta, right? Pure motivation, not your ego. So then your intention, your motivation, your dedication expands beyond the sort of limits of ego. So it's like they say, it's like a candle flame. If you keep it to yourself, it lights just your room, right? But if you share it with thousands of other candles, it lights the whole world. So it connects your small action to limitless sort of result if you dedicate it. So, in short, dedicating protects the merit, purifies the intention, connects you to all beings, keeps you on the bodhisattva path, and also removes the self-grasping. So it's so important. Therefore, never forget it. Okay, when you say one mani mantra, even like recite one mani mantra, how you start, how you finish, so important. So how you finish means dedicate. So that's very important for us Mahāyāna practitioners. Now I'm going to continue the 8th stanza. Ndwa napa chisita na suchir jipardana mandam manba nyetakdan te nayok sheprasho. For as long as beings are ill and until they are cured of their disease, may I become their medicine and their doctor, and may I nurse them back to health. We're talking all these teachings based on bodhicitta. So again, a bodhisattva's commitment is not temporary. It lasts as long as suffering exists in the world. So for as long as any living being suffers from sickness, whether physical or mental, the bodhisattva would say, I will remain dedicated to helping them whenever they experience illness, suffering. I will not abandon them. I will stay with them until they fully, especially this is talking about the illness, right? So I will stay with them until they fully recover. This is also important, sick people always need help. They depend on others for help, for support, because when they are left alone, they feel powerless, unable to manage their needs. When they feel abandoned or they have, for example, no money, their emotional experience can be very painful. So this fear can be just as painful as the illness itself. There is a sense of lose of connection, lose of support, lose of love. This is exactly why teachings like Shantideva was emphasize staying with those who are suffering, offering presence, care, and compassion. So even like small gestures like of kindness, love can feel precious when someone is sick or suffering. Compassionate person can be as powerful as medicine or doctor, So therefore, abandonment increases suffering, but compassion reduces suffering. So therefore, Shantideva was focused on here how we help sick people, because illness can make people feel helpless, right? But when someone treats them with kindness and respect, they feel really valued and they feel sort of like human again. When a compassionate person stays with someone who is really suffering, it gives them it's totally different, like, comfort, and gives them strength. They can sort of encourage, I can face this illness, sort of that inner courage supports, of course, both physical healing, mental inner strength. So it's so important. This teaching is just really important to keep in our practice. Sick people, illness, can make people feel really helpless. But once we have compassion and, support, their body responds with more stability because their mind feels supported, right? Many people begin to heal simply because they feel loved. You remember this, there were times when Buddha Shakyamuni choose not to go begging for food sometimes, so that he could care for sick monks and sick people. There was a story one time, the monk was very sick and his body was like so dirty, the Buddha personally washed him and cleaned his body and, helped, sick people, even Buddha Shakyamuni himself. That's why Shantideva says here, like, may I nurse them back to health. This means not only given medicine, right, but also offering care and compassion throughout the healing process. It reflects a wish to stay by their side, providing comfort and support for beginning to end. So here, Shantideva's teachings emphasize the power of compassion, not just as a feeling, but as an active sort of presence. Bodhicitta means staying with beings who suffer. Just like this stanza says, right? May I become their medicine and their doctor, and may I nurse them back to health. It expresses the aspiration to remove pain, both physical and mental suffering. For as long as suffering exists, it is Bodhisattva wish to become whatever beings need most. So, compassionate sport is an expression of bodhicitta. So this stanza expresses the bodhisattva's commitment to be a source of healing, comfort, wisdom, and protection for all beings who are suffering. It represents the highest level of selflessness, compassionate commitment. So when you choose to be present with someone who is suffering, either physically, mentally, or emotionally, you are practicing the heart of the bodhicitta. So you don't have to like sit down on your cushion and then practice bodhicitta. You visualize all the sufferings and and not like that, right? It's your kindness. This is like we have to bring this practice into our daily life. If you go to somewhere, you just open door for somebody. It's small action, but it's selflessness, I think. You don't choose yourself or go into first because it's so cold outside. You just open the door and let them go, and then, I mean, this kind of, actions, kindness, selflessness, people don't even notice, but who cares? In your mind, like you care other people, even they're not like suffering, but it's just you put others first, not yourself. I think it's like it's a very easy small action, but it's big. It has a great meaning. So we can, you know, if you want, practice bodhicitta. Um, practice in bodhicitta like this way, small, not just. I think the problem is like separate. We separate uh, practice and daily life. In daily life, we are not happy, we are angry, we are exhausted, whatever. Even we don't remember all this kind of small uh, practice like kindness, compassion, good heart, all this. We don't, but then we sit on cushion and then we try to visualize all these things. And I think the most important, what I feel, is not separate your practice and from daily life. Do something every single day. Just not expect too much. Just a little bit, like as I say, open door for somebody else with based on good intention. Then slowly, like you can do more and more for others. Then you have a sort of really meaningful life. Otherwise, I really feel like focus on just make money or how to become famous and all this nonsense. It's not nonsense, but that's not a point of your life. So we have to try to help mentally, physically, emotionally, because people are suffering greatly. So that's why I think now I'm going to stop here, and we're going to recite the World Peace Prayer by Tanton Gyalpo, just as we did last time. It's this prayer is really good, so we're going to continue practice this prayer. and dedicated to all those who have lost their lives through all this conflict and violence, and praying for the well-being of the entire world. You know, unfortunately, sadly, sentient beings continue to suffer deeply due to causes and conditions and bad karma, including war, political conflict, whatever you call it. So this suffering comes from very harmful actions. So, as you recite the prayer, visualize the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the compassionate ones, as well as all beings who have died or who are now suffering from all kinds of, fear, anger, and confusion. Visualize all of that, meaning remember, right? Remember them, and then generate sort of genuine compassion for them, for all beings, including both those who suffer and those who cause harm, and dedicate the merit of practice, your practice, to the peace and benefit of the whole world. That's all we can do now, right?